is good. Gonna go in on Elon. I'm very unhappy with Elon Musk. If you watch the channel, you know I am an Elon Musk supporter, but this is not his answers. His answer yesterday, both of them, in regards to AJ, were unacceptable for me. And I will show empathy for it, but I am losing trust with Elon. I still support Elon. I don't know if you could even say I ever trusted him, because people would come at me and say, hey, Elon did this, Elon did that. I'd be like, I support Elon, but I don't trust him. Even friend of the show, Will Cormier, and I had that conversation. But whatever trust I had is less. So if I had none, it's gone to negative on it. So I'm going to be going on Elon. This is in regards to Elon and AJ. Elon Musk has brought back Mr. James Lindsay, though. That is it's good. I'm not going to really prop that up too much, more than it needs to be. But he is back. The last I saw, he is reinstated back on Twitter, which is good news. So that's why I still say I support Elon Musk, and nobody's going to be perfect. There's no one I'm going to agree with on 100% of things. But this statement from Elon Musk is very troubling. It's extremely troubling to me. And we've had this conversation in our country already. Good morning, Broken Traditions. We've got YouTube royalty in the building. Go sub up to Broken Traditions. Excellent. One of my favorite new channels. It's not new, but I've been following it more and more. Actually used the clip from your channel on the one that I was in the other day. It's really Louis F is back on. Wow. That's good. I mean, there's a lot of good things. It's amazing how many people will get back on. Now, let me be clear. Elon Musk never said AJ's not coming back on. He never said that. It doesn't look good. I don't blame people for misunderstanding it or reading into it. But it's funny how many people are getting let back on, which I fully support. If I fully support Louis F. back on the platform. And I support everybody back on the platform. Even if you get banned, you should lose your account. You should always be able to start a new account. So there's article from Daily Mail is what spawned this live right now. It says, my firstborn died in my arms. I felt his last heartbeat. Elon Musk reveals why he will never let AJ back on Twitter because he used the deaths of children for gain or fame by claiming the Sandy H. Mass incident was a hoax. And this is an incorrect headline. It is inaccurate. It is factually inaccurate. It is shoddy journalism. And the importance of it, so I'm showing this headline here right now. The importance of, I'm not just saying that to just knock Daily Mail. Daily Mail does a lot of good work. They do a lot of better work than we see here in the States. So yeah, Broken Traditions with breaking news says that Louis F. is back, not verified. I saw Ye got back. So it's like prisoners are coming back slowly, James Lindsay, Ye, Don Dada, and still we don't hear anything about AJ. That's what this live is about. We don't have free speech, and Elon Musk is not a free speech platform without AJ. And I'm going to go into what my problem is with Daily Mail and this whole process and what Elon Musk has said in reply to some questions. I'm not just saying this to knock Daily Mail. The reason why it matters, because there is no, if somebody go find me a quote where Elon Musk said, AJ will never get back on Twitter. You won't find it because it doesn't exist. So this headline is misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. It's wrong. It's shoddy journalism. And my speculation here on journalism, the whole field of journalism, is that now that I'm doing YouTube, I feel what's happening. I kind of knew what was happening. A lot of you probably already know what's happening. But for example, I'm looking at doing a tribute to the sexy one, Nancy P. And the video's taking a little bit of time for me to kind of make it decent. When you look at this article here from Daily Mail, I'm not a good writer, so I wouldn't be able to write it quickly. But my wife is a good writer. She's not like a journalist writer, but she can write quickly. I think a good writer could write this article that we're seeing here in 15 minutes to a half an hour. Quick, Boom, gone, got your headline, send it out. If you are going to dig deeper, it might take an hour or 2 hours. So now you're doubling or tripling or quadrupling the time you're putting into an article with no guarantee that you would get more revenue based off of it. So why would you do real journalism? You're not incentivized to. I put all the time into the Nancy P, and maybe it's a bad video or whatever, but I still like it because it's my art, just because the art is bad. Maybe somebody released a bad album, but they put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. I'm going to acknowledge, hey, maybe it wasn't the best, or maybe it was suppressed in the algorithm. Who knows? But it doesn't get a lot of views, but you put a lot of time into it. So what you're doing is you're lowering your revenue per minute. So that's why you get shoddy journalism. I can write an article in 15 minutes and it gets X amount of revenue. Why would I spend 4 times the amount of time into it and I don't have any guarantee? I would need 4 times the revenue, at least, just to be even. So even if I got 4 times the revenue, I would still do the shoddy journalism because now I can move on to another article. You would need more than 4 times the revenue to do even just a little bit of digging. Even if this took a half an hour, for it to take an hour is a significant, that doubles the time. We have shoddy journalism. This is gunk. This is trash. This is garbage. Because if you don't analyze the situation properly, then you won't ask the right questions. Elon Musk has never made a statement that AJ will not be back on Twitter. It's not there. I haven't found it. If somebody has it, let me know. I always leave room to be wrong. I've been digging. I've been looking. He has not made that. Now, he has answered some questions in some coy ways. That's good. That's different than this statement. So the Daily Mail fails strong here in the headline saying Elon Musk, and I know the people who write the headlines aren't the ones that write the articles, but it doesn't, from my standpoint, I don't care. Elon Musk reveals why he will never let AJ back on Twitter. That is a lie. He has never said that. That's not true. So I don't know what's happening to journalism, but that's just basic journalism. That's never happened. The reason why it's important is it leads you down the path to ask the wrong questions. This is a link to the article. I'm going through a Twitter thread right now. So in the article of Daily Mail, they quote the tweets he's mentioned or he's replied to about AJ. I've talked to about a couple of them already. But it's also important to note that it's odd that he has never come straight out and made an opaque statement saying, I'm not bringing AJ back. He has never done that. Why has he? So if you don't analyze it properly, you won't ask the question. The question here for a journalist is, why won't he answer the question directly? Why won't he make a statement directly? He has not done that. Why? Why has he not done that? Why is he being coy about it? Some of it could be monetary. There could be monetary reasons for this. Like, okay, if I'm coy about it, well, more people will talk about it. That could be it. I don't know. This is just all speculating. But that's where honest journalism, in my opinion, would take you on this topic. Thanks for stopping by. Broken traditions, respect. I respect this brother's opinion a lot. He says, I don't know if they should let AJ back. And so I respectfully disagree. There is a no-brainer that AJ should be back. He has not broken any laws. I know that there's a civil suit. The civil suit is gunk. He can appeal that to the Supreme Court. Should smack the hell out of that civil suit. It's a travesty of law from amateur who's not a lawyer. It's a travesty. It's dangerous. It leads us down the path where I say, well, I'm not really for certain people reading books to children in school. Now, all of a sudden, if I have a big enough platform and something happens in Colorado Springs, oh, now I'm at fault for somebody doing something crazy when I've been nothing but, in my opinion, respectful and peaceful. That's where that goes. In that trial with AJ, the FEBA, a FEBA agent was a plaintiff in that trial to get paid out from AJ, and AJ never maybe said his name once. I don't think he ever said his name. Didn't say anything about the government had no business being in on that. It's a big psyop. So there's no Everybody should be on Twitter. There should be, you can ban the account. So if you follow me, if I create a Twitter account, then the First Amendment does not give you a constitutional right to keep your followers. So if you break a term, I'm fine with the company saying we're closing your account out. Even that's dangerous, but I think we have to amend the Constitution. But they should never stop you from creating a new account. AJ should be able to create a new account right now and come back on. The fact that he can't is a violation of the First Amendment, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole with the relationship of the government and social media. Freedom of speech means everyone, period. You don't have to listen, though. You can block them. You can minimize, not the platform, but you, the user, should be able to say anything about AJ, I don't want to see it. Fine. It's perfectly fine. In regards, GB, what's good? In regards to shoddy journalism, GB says, same logic as a restaurant preparing your food sloppily to not spend too much time on one customer's meal, and you're disappointed and you don't come back. Absolutely. But the thing is, all the journalists are doing it so they come back. I mean, what's the point of spending 4 hours on a YouTube video? And I'm not blaming YouTube for it, but for whatever reason, it doesn't get the reach. Maybe the thumbnail's bad, the video's not as good as you thought, whatever. You spend 4 hours on it and you get 100 views. But I could just rant with off the top of the cuff for 5 minutes and get 10,000 views. You're gonna rant off the top of the cuff, right? That's just the revenue. But Broken Traditions, I respect that. I can tell. He says, I make videos for myself. I wouldn't be surprised if most of my watch time is from me. Same here, bro. When I do videos, I go back and watch them and listen to them to get better and try to improve. So the voice isn't as monotone or whatever you want to do. And I can tell watching Broken Traditions. I can tell watching friend of show, Carlos and Saul, Patriots of the American Republic. I can tell by watching Ray Studios that they are doing this out of love. Just like Broken Traditions and Che No Spoon podcast and that girl Casey. And there's too many to name that I really respect highly. Even Tim Pool, I think, with all the money he has, he doesn't have to do any more YouTubes. He doesn't have to grind like he does anymore. So AJ has to be back. But here's where we're at. Here's my problem here. Thanks for stopping by. You have to start from a good premise when you do math equations. If you're solving a formula in math, if your first step is wrong, then every other step after that will be wrong. Even if the first step is wrong, and then after the first step, everything is technically right based on the wrong step. That's what's happening here with the journalism. He's never said that. So now we have to figure out, why has he never said that? So we look at, what has he actually said? Let me go into the Daily Mail article. They conveniently have the tweets in there. So they have the tweets accurate. I just don't think their interpretation of them are accurate. He first came up with the tweet where he was talking about the Bible quote. I believe Jesus was in that quote. Let me see if I can find that. I should have that. Nope. I don't think I have the G. Did they put the... Okay. Sam Harris, anti-friend of the show. Sam Harris says, is it time to let AJ back on Twitter? If not, why not? Excellent question. It's a direct question. Sam Harris has seen what's happened, and he has enough prominence for Elon to possibly respond. Well said there. Elon Musk says, and to me, anybody familiar with the Bible, help me out. I don't know this quote. I have to do some research, but was it Matthew? Something in Matthew. I should at Bryson Gray. I should add back, because he will reply, but I won't do that now. But he's great. Bryson Gray will reply to you. Suffering little children, and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. And I don't know this. The impression I got from the quote is that he's going down the path of Alex Joehns did wrong against children. And that's unacceptable to Elon Musk. Maybe there's more context there. I kind of like how Elon Musk does that. It makes you do some detective work. It reminds me of the Isom magazine, the comic, the graphic novel by Eric July, you read it and it's, it's kind of basic. The storyline's basic, but when you go back to it, because I'm going to break it down, it's like there's a lot of hints and different things in there. Brilliant work by Eric July. Brilliant, man. That dude, the writing is brilliant. But that's what Elon Musk is making you do some detective work. Okay. Elon Musk goes on to tweet this quote. This is where I got pissed off. This is where I got pissed off. Kim.com says AJ stood up with, he messed up with Sandy H. He admitted that and apologized. He also got a lot of things right. If serial liars like Brandon and Don Dada are allowed on Twitter, then AJ should be allowed too. Please reconsider in the interest of real free speech. There is nobody who believes in real free speech in the First Amendment that thinks everybody should be let back on and AJ shouldn't. It's impossible. This is where I had beef with Elon. Elon said, my firstborn child died in my arms. I felt his last heartbeat. I have no mercy for anyone who would use the unliving of children for gain, politics, or fame. And I have very serious problems with this. First, I do want to acknowledge I have 2 kids now. So it's not that I don't have empathy for where Elon's feeling there. I actually have a ton more than when I was maybe 18 and didn't have a family. If you don't know, Nevada Alexander Musk, Elon's first child, was born in 2002. Nevada tragically went away at the age of 10 weeks. So this was a very sad story. Nevada was born and passed away of sudden infant death syndrome. Nevada was born when Elon had numerous high points in his life. He had imagined, and this is via the, what website is this? Hold on here. The Publishing London. So this was during a very emotional time in his life as well. So I want to take a step and acknowledge that before I do go in and have my problems with Elon. He was born when Elon had numerous high points in his life. He had imagined and begun to design the company SpaceX. This was a huge undertaking. He went over to Russia. This might have been the last time he talked to Putin, where he said he talked to Putin. He went to Russia. He wanted to sell it. He wanted to say, Russia, I can do this where we can make a spacecraft that's reusable. Russia, they failed. Everybody who, including myself, who I was like, don't doubt Elon. I remember I did the video with Omar from The Wire. It's like, Elon is coming. Don't doubt this dude. And then I was like, you know what? The government, there's too much. He's not going to be able to get it. And he did get Twitter. He had to overpay, but he got it. Even anyone who has doubted him has failed, period, including Russia. He went to Russia and said, hey, I can do this. I can design this. I got the team to do it, to make a rocket, because if you only have a rocket that's one use, it's too expensive to get into space. Now he has rockets that can do satellites, get up into space and land and be reused, making it more affordable. Russia said, no, thank you. On the flight back from Russia, on a napkin, he did the math and said, I can do it myself. It's going to be difficult, but I got to put my money in and I can do it. It's around that same time that his child, Nevada, passed away. He had no cash on hand. eBay became interested in buying a stake in PayPal. He got the money, flipped it. Nevada's passing happened suddenly without any forewarning. His parents put him to sleep, and when they came back, he was no longer breathing. So when Elon Musk says that in response to AJ, this is of the utmost, this is not a joke, this isn't a meme, this is heartfelt pain. I don't think he's being genuine in regards to taking that pain to AJ. Who knows? But Justine Musk shared, we moved to Los Angeles, had a first child, a boy named Nevada Alexander, the same week that Elon's net worth went to well over 100 million. Following the PayPal sale, Nevada went down for a nap, placed on his back as always, and stopped breathing. By the time the paramedics came and resuscitated him, he had been deprived of oxygen for so long that he was brain dead. He spent 3 days on life support, grueling stuff in a hospital in Orange County, California, before we made the decision to take him off of it. I held him in my arms when he died. So I have nothing but, it's a tragic, obviously, situation. So I want to make sure that that's separated from my concern here. But that doesn't mean I don't have concerns. What the hell does Alex J have to do with that? How dare you, sir, bring up the tragic death of your child and associate it with Alex J? That is disgusting. Has nothing to do with him. That's your pain, that's your sorrow, that's your loss. That has nothing to do with whether Alex Joehns should be on Twitter or not. It is the worst statement that, maybe I'm forgetting something. I'm always prone to hyperbole, but it is one of the worst. I think it is the worst statement I have ever seen from Elon Musk. I don't think I've ever seen him use that. He used it before in the tragic death in a positive way. There was a young teenager who died in a Model S going too fast, I believe, got out of control. The cars are extremely powerful, extremely fast. Some of the fastest, especially the Model S, one of the fastest cars on the road you'll ever see. So you get a young person in there, you know, you're stupid when you're young, you could do stupid things. And Elon Musk brought this up. I know, to the family, I know what it's like to lose a child. That wasn't manipulative, that was honest. This is manipulation. There is no way that you can connect SIDS with your son to AJ. There is no possible way you can. And if it were an emotional, I will give you, we all are emotional. I can say things right now emotionally that I would like to take back. You've had plenty of time to calm down and retract it. I haven't seen that yet. News happens so fast, so forgive me if something has come out. So I'm not using the emotion. The emotions are out of it. We're hours past the tweet. You can retract the tweet. You don't have to delete it. You can clarify it. You can retract it. You can apologize. But that's what I would do if I incorrectly associated any one of you, AJ, anything to a tragedy that happened in my life. I would have to apologize for that, because that's wrong. That's manipulative. That's dangerous. That's some ish Billy G would do. That's some ish Hillary C would do. That's some ish that the slimiest swamp creature snakes in the world would do without skipping a breath. They would look you dead in your eye and lie to you or manipulate you. That's what they do. Nancy P came out and said, MAGA, I'm going to paraphrase, MAGA is at fault for a terrible incident that happened in Colorado Springs. That is pure evil. That is evil cut in its purest form, and those who are eating it are snorting it straight up their nostrils. It is unacceptable. It is deprived behavior, and that's what we're seeing from Elon Musk. So you see the concern I have with the Daily Mail article. They didn't bring that up. How do you not bring up, like, wait a second, how do you connect your son's passing? What does that have to do with AJ? What kind of journalism is this? The two things have nothing to do with each other. It's like Nancy P, Polly P gets hammered, triple entendre, and then now it's MAGA's fault that he got hammered. It's MAGA's fault that you're telling me a bum came off the street and got into your crib. Who's buying that? Same thing here. How are you connecting AJ to the passing of your son? And AJ was nothing but graceful before this came out. So now I have to ask, I have two questions now. One, you're being coy. Two, you're connecting AJ to a tragedy that happened in your life that has nothing to do with him. Now I've got more questions. Now I don't trust you. Now I'm losing trust in you. Serious trust. And you should obviously trust no one. And this is a great example of why. The worst statement I've ever heard from Elon Musk. And that's what I said. I said, I'm sorry for Elon's loss here, but this has nothing to do with AJ. And I will not accept that it does. And it's the same thing that happened with Carrie Lake and Gladys Sicknick, the mother of Brian Sicknick. trying to intimate. She never said, I blame Carrie Lake for my son's death. But what she said was, she said something to the effect of people like Carrie Lake. Don't do that. I'm sorry for your son's loss, but what I will not let you do is associate your son's loss to somebody who didn't have anything to do with it. So I don't care if you're being manipulated. That's not my problem. What you did is disgusting. I can have both takes. I'm not afraid to address that. I can feel sorry for your son's loss and then also call you despicable for how you used and are trying to manipulate your son's loss. Same with Elon Musk here. We have to set boundaries. The boundaries is don't do this. The boundaries need to be set clearly. This is a regrettable moment for Elon Musk. And what it does to me is it shows that there's some other motive here, because I do not believe that Elon Musk attaches that loss to AJ. I don't believe it. And I have my right to say I'm not convinced. That's an opinion. And I'll still hold those opinions while we still can in our country. That won't be forever. Not without punishment. What we see in that tweet from Elon Musk is someone who has become too powerful. We see someone who has become so powerful that if you're going to take it at face value, which I don't, but let's take it at face value, that they take an emotional loss in their personal life and apply it to free speech for a nation. That's why we have the First Amendment. That's why we have those rights, so that someone doesn't amass so much power that they do mental gymnastics to say you don't have that right anymore. And again, the reason why I'm going to First Amendment is because of the relationship with the government and big tech. And that applies to no one more than AJ. He talks about government power at the highest level, the one earth government at the highest level. So that is a conflict of interest if the government goes to private companies, and we don't know if they're not doing that right now with Twitter. We would never know unless it came out years later in a FOIA request or something. The same thing. They have a conflict of interest. The government cannot stop legally AJ from speaking, but what they can do is allow social media companies to get a monopoly to become the town square, just like anti-friend of soul Eric Feigl Ding admitted, can become the town square, and then we can say, now we regulate you, or we could destroy you because we're the government. That is the end around the First Amendment. So your loss, whether you authentically tie that to AJ or not, has nothing to do with free speech. It's a disgusting statement. It's a regrettable one. It's one of your worst ones ever. I don't have the vocabulary to describe how abhorrent a statement that is. And I'm not going to let you hide behind the loss of your son to deflect criticism. It's terrible, and it's concerning. It's a red flag for Elon Musk. So he applies it to a nation, and I said that's the most disgusting thing he's ever said. In making a statement about AJ manipulating the deaths of children, this is the irony, hypocrisy of it. So you remember, he's replying to, hey, he never said it straight out, but he's replying to the Kim.com statement where he's like, well, reconsider bringing AJ back. So so he's saying that I don't like people who have manipulated the deaths of children into money, fame, and power. And the ironic thing is he's manipulating the death of his own child to justify keeping AJ. That's what it appears to be. I don't have a direct connection because notice he's being coy here. It's just a reply to a statement. So you can't connect the two unless he connects them. Why is he being so coy about it? That's not by accident. He's doing the same thing. The death of your own child, connecting it to why you don't want AJ on the platform. The exact same thing you're accusing AJ of doing. It's abhorrent behavior. I'm still a supporter, but clearly Elon is not to be trusted. This is Hillary C level of slime. And this is the X-Files, one of my favorite shows. Mulder and Scully. And one of the themes of that show, what an amazing series that was. Trust no one. Elon Musk founded Neuralink. Neuralink is one of the leading companies in the world that will bring forth a transhumanist society. Just coincidentally, AJ is the #1 personality in the world who points out the problems with a transhumanist society. So take the sun out of it. You have a conflict of interest here. And I am pro-transhumanism. All that means is that I believe you can't stop the advancement of technology. So I think that we should encourage the advancement of technology and make sure that it's harnessed for it's harnessed in a way that preserves the rights of citizens. That's what I mean when I say I'm pro-transhumanism. I'm not pro putting a chip in someone's brain and then letting people like Nancy P and Hakeem Jeffries decide what happens. That's not what pro-transhumanism means. That's a separate problem, no different than 2A. I'm pro 2A. I'm not anti-guns. I'm anti-people in power controlling who has a gun, which gun they have and not. The problem isn't the gun. The problem is the government. So the same way I'm pro 2A is the same way I'm pro internet free speech, the same way I'm pro transhumanism. As long as you maintain the constitutional rights of people. And I can't speak about, I'm not versed in all the other countries' rights. But that poses a big problem because other countries could let stuff get crazy. And how do you stop that from infiltrating the United States? We have a serious issue with transhumanism. Even though I'm pro-transhumanism, the serious issues that are there are obvious. And AJ is the #1. There's no one in the world that's a stronger proponent, more popular, more well-known opponent of transhumanism. So you see, Daily Wire doesn't go down this path because they don't analyze it properly. In my opinion, that's why. So Elon Musk, question for you. Does Alex Jones's position on transhumanism have an effect on your decision to bring him back to Twitter? I would like an answer to that. Our founding fathers already went through this debate. They already saw these problems. We are recreating the wheel. And in part, transhumanism is the problem. I mean, maybe this is too loose of a way, but to say that we have phones, I've got an iPad, laptop, phone right here. I've got a camera, internet, monitors. That's transhumanism. Fetter Bump, I think somebody called him Fetter Bump the other day. Dieter Andrew, I believe. Fetter Bump is using transhumanism, and he is now a U.S. senator shortly. He will become one. Transhumanism is already here. The problem that we're having with the First Amendment, the government that I said going around the end around, is because of transhumanism. It's because of the internet. So they're using transhumanism as a weapon against the people to go around your rights. We're in the meta world. There's a person I follow on YouTube that does virtual cars in Grand Theft Auto. So they say, hey, come meet up, and we do a virtual car meetup. And the last one he did was, let's show off your interiors. That's the metaverse. This virtual reality. They aren't using goggles or looking at a monitor, but that's all the goggles are, is a better monitor. Transhumanism is here, and the government is using it already as an end around, including Elon Musk, and then on top of that has the audacity to hide behind the tragic death of his son to justify it. We've already gone through this. That's why the founding fathers knew that this right that I'm trying to exercise right now is more important than even bearing arms. The Second Amendment isn't the First Amendment. James Madison could have easily said, you know what, the First Amendment is going to be the right to bear arms. If you don't think this through, that might have been the first one. But of course, the pen is mightier than the sword. That's why they hate AJ. That's why they don't want him on the platform. It's very problematic for a lot of people. So if you want to stay silent about why, stay silent, but don't try to manipulate. I do not take Elon, as I said, at face value when he connects the loss of his child to Alex Joehns, but assuming he's being genuine, that's a conflict of interest. That by itself is a conflict of interest. You lost a child. AJ was found in civil court, nothing guilty in a criminal court, it's civil court. Just words. He didn't do anything wrong with the Sandy H situation. It's what he said. On top of that, he has the transhumanism conflict. There's a lot of good that's going to happen from transhumanism. It could help cure things like Alzheimer's. It could make people, if they're paraplegics or they can't walk due to something in the brain not connecting, the chip in the brain could down the road connect it and let you live and walk and cure things. A lot of good could come from this. But it's a conflict of interest because AJ talks about the bad, the concerns. So now for the first time, I'm questioning what the Daily Mail article never did. What is Elon tied into the One Earth government people? I think that's a fair question to ask now. I have not had concerns until now, or I've had minor concerns, but not where I would ask the question. What is Elon Musk's relationship to the one world government? Because you're letting everyone back on, for the most part, but not AJ at this point. He hasn't said he wouldn't let AJ back on. He said no. Somebody said reinstate AJ. He said no. So he didn't say like no forever. So why? There are other topics that I could bring friend of show Ray Studios on to talk about. And I'll just say this, that would relate in quotation marks back to Elon Musk, pun intended. Pun intended, and AJ's not afraid to broach those topics. I am not versed in those topics, so I do not broach them. I will ask Ray Studios and others who are more peasant journalists, Mr. Wolf, people who really are up on that stuff, but I am not versed. But I know AJ's not afraid to have those conversations. What I'm talking about is his heritage and the power structure of the world. Elon Musk, were you thinking about the tragic death of your firstborn while children in the DRC were abused mining cobalt for Tesla batteries? Because you said that it was, your thoughts on children. You had the Bible quote from Matthew. And then you said the quote about, and let me read it again. The quote from Elon is, "My firstborn child died in my arms. I felt his last heartbeat. I have no mercy for anyone who would use the deaths of children for gain, politics, or fame." Interesting, because they're trying to get away from cobalt, but interesting that you said that you have no tolerance for anyone who would use the deaths of children for gain, politics, or fame. What about the children mining cobalt for Tesla batteries? Did you think about holding your son in your arms during his last heartbeat during these times? And to my knowledge, they're trying to get away from it because of this in part. If you don't know that the cobalt is used in the batteries, Tesla is just a car literally on a platform of batteries, 4 wheels, and an iPad. It's not a luxury car. A lot of people don't know about Teslas because they look at them and they think they're kind of expensive. But really, the Model 3 is not that much more expensive than some of these cars you see driving around on the street. So I don't know. The S is expensive, but the Model 3 is not really that expensive when you look at the SUVs and all these things driving around. They're $50,000 or more. People act like the car is $100,000. It's not. It's not a luxury car. The car is literally a skateboard with batteries, motor. Some of them have just one motor in the rear, in the rear. And that's it. And then you put metal on top and an iPad, and that's it. It's a software company. But for those batteries, you need a lot of cobalt, at least in the past. I'm not an expert right now because I've done so much politics. I really haven't been following Tesla as closely as I used to. This person said that their basic wage of $3.50 a day. But if they work through lunch and put in overtime, it can make up to $3.70 a day. Not that lunch is worth waiting for, claims that he's just given 2 small bread rolls and a carton of juice. The relationship between us and the mine is like a slave and a master. Stories of the harsh, dangerous working conditions endured by miners in the DRC's informal or artisanal cobalt mines of child labor and miners being buried alive as tunnels cave in have provoked an international outcry in recent years, forcing the Western technology and automotive brands that rely on it, and they're going to go on to say, to move away from it. Were you thinking of your son there, Elon? Or is it just when it applies to AJ? Did you make any money off the backs of how many children did you make the money, fame, power? You were able to buy Twitter. I've never brought this up with Elon. I've known this for quite some time. I've never brought this up with Elon because life is savage. Like I talked about the devices I have, what type of labor went into these devices, many of them made in China. So I'm not clean on this either. The comforts of our lifestyle come with costs. But I also don't go on and say, because of the death of someone, I'm concerned about someone else's free speech because they didn't do what I wanted them to do when they talked about children. So that's why we need to bring this up. That's why, to me, he brought it up, not me. Why isn't Daily Mail going down this path, answering these questions? Because they put together an article that took about 2 seconds to write. That's why. It took about 15 minutes to write that article, no thought behind it, put a headline together and send. That's why. So I think that's where I'm going to end on that coverage. I would like someone who has an amplified voice to ask Elon Musk these questions directly. I would like to know the answers. But at the end of the day, the way I view Elon will never be the same. Elon Musk is, if you don't know Neuralink, putting a chip in people's brain. And my concern with it was, I didn't even have a concern, so I guess you could say this was trust. I didn't have a concern as much with Elon as I did with what if obviously somebody else other than Elon is going to take over his properties. Do you know that Tesla could brick a car whenever they want? If you have a Tesla right now, Tesla could go into their systems and brick your car at any moment. This is a problematic thing. So Elon, are you going to brick, say I have a Tesla. Elon, are you going to brick my Tesla because I'm asking you these questions? I never posed that question before. Is that not a fair question to ask right now? Remember when it popped off in the sunflower country? It all popped off over there in the sunflower country. And then Elon said, or not, Elon didn't say anything. People asked Elon, could you brick the Teslas in Russia? That's where we're at. That's how important this is. So Elon Musk playing coy with AJ, it outweighs any good he's done with bringing Trump back or anybody else, for me. Because this is the true test. He said it himself. Played that on the channel before when he said the true test of free speech is when somebody you don't like is allowed to say something you don't like. Even if your child passed away and you have some type of illogical emotional connection to it. So you're failing. Obviously, I don't know if Elon has said, he has been a proponent of free speech, but I have to look to see if he ever really said directly, I'm bringing free speech to Twitter. I don't know if he's hinted at that. You can't read between the lines. He said stuff like power to the people or stuff like that, but he really said, I'm here to bring free speech back to Twitter. Maybe he has. I have to look through, all the comments he's made. Let me go to the comments. Let me see what people are saying here. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be out here in a second. Sheep Shearer says, let me take a look and see. What's going on? Magic GoPro? Okay, so Magic GoPro is bringing a counterpoint to the table, it looks like. Let me see what this says. Magic GoPro says, yes, AJ is great, but this Elon attack over it is crybaby bullish. Even AJ said Elon is doing it right. I don't care what AJ can say whatever he wants. That doesn't, I have questions. My question for Elon Musk is, that's fine. If this is being crybaby, I'm perfectly fine, but my questions still stand, whether I'm crying or not. Does Alex Joehns is anti-transhumanism? Elon Musk is obviously pro-transhumanism. Is that playing a role? My question for Elon Musk is that playing a role in bringing him back to the platform? My other question is Elon, were you crying? Were you emotional? Were you thinking about holding your unfortunately dead son in your arms when you were allowing mining through cobalt to be put into your batteries to help you and make money and to get where you were? So you can call me whatever you want, but those questions still stand. Pitbull and MMA says, I learned to think for myself because of AJ. Listened to him while I was a Democratic. AJ was right. Jar is being filled. Yep. And it is actually irrelevant if he's right or not. He can have whatever opinion he wants to have. As long as he's not breaking the law, he's not in jail. If you want to sue him and our justice system wants to sue him and have him pay $1 trillion, whatever, they can do that clownish, but he's allowed to say what he wants to say as his opinion. So I look at this even more of a test. Magic GoPro says, I said I still support Elon. Magic GoPro says he is literally attempting to cancel Elon in front of you and you're still cheering for it. I don't know how you say I'm here to cancel Elon. I'm still an Elon supporter. I can compartmentalize these things. If Nancy Pelosi says 2 + 2 is 4, I will say, yes, I agree with you. Elon Musk has done some great things. I don't know what that means by canceling. I've never said, I'm not the type of person to say don't go buy somebody's products. I will say support people that don't hate you. And I think Elon Musk doesn't hate me, but I don't know. But I am not calling for any type of cancellation for Elon Musk. What I'm calling for is for him to answer questions. I'm calling for people to ask him direct questions like Sam Harris did, and I want him to answer them. That's what I'm calling for. I think the Bish move is not bringing AJ back on and being coy about it. See, now he's not being coy when he brings up his son's passing. That's the coy is he's still being coy, but that's very serious. You don't bring that up if you're not passionate about what you're bringing it up about, even if you're using manipulation. Pit Bulls and MMA says, I absolutely love AJ and Bryson Gray, respect him. He quotes AJ in many of his songs saying, I'm not worthy. Yes, Bryson Gray is a big AJ fan. I'm a fan of anybody who makes me think. That's why I've always loved Rush Limbaugh. Even when I was a blue-pilled pro-Obama, I listened to Rush Limbaugh, the late, great Rush Limbaugh. Why? Because he made me think. That's why. That's what I value. I value people who make you think. That's why I still... Dr. Karlin Borisenko has said some things that I think are inappropriate, regrettable, but I still watch her channel because she makes me think. That I put a high value on that. Magic Girl Pro says this is cancel culture again. I do disagree with that. Now it sounds like I'm worried about my Tesla. No, it's about the bigger picture. It's about one person saying, "Oh, you know what? If AJ had a Tesla, what would stop Elon from bricking it?" I mean, we might not be there yet because AJ could sue, but really, when you look at your phones and devices, I don't know if you realize this, you don't own the software. Google can brick your phone, and you can't do anything about it. You own the physical phone. You don't own the software. It's very similar to if you sign up for Spotify. You don't own the songs. You're renting them. You basically pay monthly to have them. And so that's either that's troubling or not. There was a story I talked about where Kanye West, for some people, had updated the Drink Champs episode of Kanye West to Google Drive, and they couldn't play it. Google blocked it on their own private. Obviously, it's not private if you're using Google's servers, but isn't that problematic? So I think it's a bigger thing. Dan Plandemic, I agree with this. I actually did a video. Dan, thank you for stopping by. Says he better bring back AJ in time. I think he will. I think he's still open to that because he's never said he's never come straight out and said AJ is banned permanently from the platform. He's never said that. But even if he brings them back later, that doesn't change the problems I have now, unless he backtracks that statement. Yeah, Isaac Hull says being dragged through court for 2 years and suffering financial loss is sufficient discipline. It should have nothing to do with his free speech going forward. And I also say, if somebody is, their account is banned, people should never be banned. You should always be able to create a new account. But if you ban someone's account, all their tweets that don't violate the terms, this gets into a murky situation. All their tweets that don't violate the First Amendment should be maintained. So while James Lindsay was banned from the platform, every tweet that James Lindsay had ever tweeted was blocked. That's unconstitutional. Every tweet that he tweeted, I don't think any tweet that he tweeted violated the First Amendment. So if a company bans him, then his tweets should be still up there. You see what happened with AJ? AJ was on YouTube. YouTube banned him. They took down all his videos. So now he goes to court and they're referencing stuff that he only had on. You can't back up everything unless you're like YouTube or Rumble. So they're referencing videos he had no evidence for. Then they said you didn't participate in sharing all the evidence we needed, so you're default guilty. Unconstitutional all around. Cindy Lou, what's good? I'm going to be out. I got a hard out at 10:30, so I'll be out here in a second. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. You can visit middlemaga.com. I'll be doing more uploads. I feel good. Feel good getting those rants out so I can move on to other there's so many news, so many topics out there. But thanks a lot for stopping by, everybody. Take care. Appreciate you.